What's up, friends? Welcome back to another episode. I don't even know what number episode. Guys, by the time you listen to this shit, I'm already be in the UK. I don't know what number episode I'm on at this point. But what's up, friends? Welcome back. Another episode, Sunday Sessions with Rich podcast. If you're new to my show, welcome. I drop episodes every single Sunday. Catch your boy on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube, and Twitter, because now they post the whole videos and shit. On today's episode, Marcus stops back for a chat. Marcus is a mindset awareness facilitator. We got a part two going on. Welcome back, my friend.
Peace. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. You know, we was cooking the last one. We
Was
had
cooking.
to spin the block one more time. We had to spin the block on it one more time.
OB,
And
OB.
finish the burn. You feel what I'm saying?
Hell yeah. Hell
Finish the
yeah.
burn. But I actually had so the way that my mind works is use it or lose it. So once I get stuff, I gotta put that mug on paper because it's I got about 10 minutes before it's gone.
Yeah. I
You
feel
know what
that.
I'm
I
saying?
feel that.
So but like
Let's dive into it.
yeah, so we kind of left off at consciousness learning itself. That's like the last concept we tapped into before we cut it off. But I wanted to dive into that because mindset awareness that's literally the epitome of what mindset awareness is. And I wanted to actually get into the basics of that. So first I wanted to start off with consciousness. So brother Rich, like what is your perception, or what would you define consciousness as?
I would define it as energy experiencing itself in multiple forms. To keep it a simple definition.
Perfect. And so in simpler forms, basically what you just said, in simpler forms, like if anybody wanted to like have it in like 5 words or less, it's just observing the observer.
Yes.
5 words or less, you know what I'm saying? And that's basically what it is. So that's what separates us from animals, right? Because animals are able to observe their food, their environments, so observation level, that's primal among all living organisms, observing themselves in a particular environment for survival. But what separates us human beings, and what separates us humans or extraterrestrials in this realm here, is being able to observe the observation.
Yep.
Right. So I wanted to dive into that because that deserves to be recognized when we're talking about changing someone's mindset or mindset awareness, right? And consciousness learning itself. So when we observe the observation of, let's say, a significant life event, right? So let's say I was running the streets. I'm from Detroit. So running the streets of Detroit, most of my life. And this is not me, by far, not a
He like disclaimer.
yeah, because I was brought up right. You know what I'm saying? I was brought up in religious background, solid home and stuff like that. But just for the sake of the example, if I was running the streets, you know what I'm saying, and my best friend gets killed, right? My childhood rider, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody I came up in diapers with. We know somebody who knows a scenario like that if they haven't been through it. You know what I'm saying? Which kind of, it could be familiar for a lot of people. But observing that trauma, it shifts us. For a lot of people, it shifted their awareness to what they were doing. Right. So they were running the streets together, doing whatever knuckleheads do in the streets. You feel what I'm saying? And it comes to a halt when somebody close to them suffers in a major way.
Yep.
And a lot of times to their demise, right?
Yep.
And then that mindset shifts to where what got us here. And then we switch from observing just every day to observing the observation. What got me here? So when you start to analyze over the years or the months or however long you was roaming the streets or doing whatever you was doing with your partner and whatever like that, then that shifts to, okay, I got to make a change because I lost one of the closest people to me. And I don't ever want to feel the feeling that's associated with that ever again.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's when change starts. That's when the mindset starts to change. Sometimes it doesn't have to result in a tragic life event like that. A lot of us do, but
Yeah.
sometimes, we catch it earlier. You know what I'm saying? And so that's consciousness learning itself. That's
Yep.
literally a prime example of consciousness learning itself, building on itself. And that's what we're all here to do. And I know you
You
had
give great
mentioned,
examples. God damn.
you said what?
I say you give great examples.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned before that we're all one consciousness, and that's so true. We're one consciousness having what they call it fractal experiences. We're fractals.
That's so
So
true. That's so
yeah,
true.
so we're having individualized experiences, learning on a massive scale. It's like one big supercomputer here. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And we're just the conduits for
Ooh,
a
perfect.
massive AI type of deal. You know what I'm saying?
That's a perfect way to explain it.
Yeah. So, but that's gonna scare a lot of people, but it is what it is. AI is not a new concept. Technology is not new. They pulled stuff out of what was already here in our reality. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, coding is not new.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you follow Billy Carson. Shout out Billy Carson.
I know I'm familiar with Billy Carson.
Yeah, so he actually he mentioned a researcher. I think he's a biochemist. And he's a professor at a university, and he talks about the research of DNA. And
Mm-hmm.
I think his name is George Church, I believe, is the professor. But correct me if I'm wrong, somebody. But what he did was he put the A's, C's, T's, and G's, which is the coding for DNA,
Yeah.
and converted it to zeros and ones, which is computer code.
And that's how it is when you break down everything. It's all
Yes.
zeros.
Yeah. So he was able to convert
That's
DNA code to
crazy.
computer code. And then what he did was he has an ebook, and he downloaded that ebook onto that computer code and transferred it back to A's, C's, T's, and G's, the DNA code. And
Damn.
not only did the DNA respond to it, but it replicated the ebook. So it made physical copies of the ebook, I think 10 billion times or something like that.
Damn.
So when it comes, and then the book had pictures and words in it. Like it was a real ebook. It wasn't like, it didn't slap like 5 words on it. And this is a ebook that you can buy today.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's not new. We've been holding the technology, and they're just now figuring it out within the last 50 or 60 years or whatever. What the things that we already been holding.
Mm-hmm.
And it going back to the consciousness learning itself. That's literally a prime example of we learned how we operate, and we're calling it technology. Cell phones is not new. We knew this with the pyramids and stuff. Like they built like a makeshift like Wi-Fi system that
Oh shit.
they said they were able to communicate with the cosmos and everything like that. And that's another thing Billy Carson mentioned. So
I gotta
um,
look at this Billy Carson.
yeah, a lot of things here are not new. When they say there's nothing new under the sun, literally, there is
Yeah, I
nothing new.
believe that.
Nothing.
Billy Carson, who are you?
Yeah. And so So
Oh, yeah. I just never knew. I see him his TikTok and on Instagram Reels.
yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
that's who that is.
if you're a part of any type of awakening, right? You have to come across him at some point. At any point of your awakening journey or consciousness journey, because it's just like because he dives into
What's his
all.
origin story?
What's his origin story?
Yeah, I'm
He
curious now.
talks about it all the time.
Billy Preston, Forbidden Knowledge Inc. is the author of the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. That's a long ass name.
Mhm. He talks about he talks about that. What's breaking down in that book? Just basically the Emerald Tablets of Thoth or Thoth. Yeah.
Oh,
And he
okay.
just breaks it down. He gives like he puts it in a way that we can all understand it, really. Just a brief like breakdown of what it all says.
And that's so important because, like, one thing I'm learning, like, and that's why I appreciate this podcast so much, is you can break things down in different ways, for people to get it on a real applicable example, which is dope as fuck.
Absolutely. And that's a perfect segue into what I wanted to get into next, as far as like, you know, consciousness learning itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that what's important is to break things down to the smallest uh size possible to make it not only palatable, but for you to embody the information. Because it's one thing to learn the information and having the information, but you can communicate the information on a different level when you're able to put it into practice yourself.
A lot of times too, to add to that, some it was always like some information. I just feel like information it sinks deeper and deeper, I guess, either as you increase your awareness or you come from a different frequency. Because you can be like the sky is blue, and then when you have a new perspective, you like, oh, I understand why the sky is blue in this perspective, and it keeps
Right.
getting deeper and deeper. So I think that's dope as hell.
100%. And you see, like you said, and you're able to break it down farther and farther, and the information becomes more practical
Breaking it down to the
because
zeros.
to the zeros,
Damn, that
because
makes sense.
because we're all one consciousness, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when we break it all the way down to the zero, everybody's able to apply it on that ground, on
Right.
ground zero. Everybody can stand on ground zero. So when it comes to breaking stuff down to the foundation, not only can someone, grasp the information and apply it, a solid foundation gets had too.
Mm-hmm.
You get your foundation gets more solid when you can break stuff down farther.
Yep.
Perfect
Yep.
example, like a tree. You have a solid tree. The tree is more solid the deeper the roots go.
Yep. 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 Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so when we have a tree going into down into the dirt, and there's some trees that spend 5-10 years establishing the roots before it comes up and breaks soil.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I know, what is it, bamboo or something like that?
Yeah.
There's a few trees that do that. And in order for
And that
the,
bitch deep as hell.
yeah, yeah, in order for those certain trees to do what it's gonna do in nature, it has to get down to the root of its foundations, the roots of its information. Because that's what trees does at the root. It
Mm-hmm.
communicates with the soil, right? And so that's what we do. And in order to learn from ourselves, consciousness learning from itself, we have to get down to the roots just like that. So yeah, that's how I wanted to kind of begin the podcast there, is because we have to we have to realize how important it is to break stuff down and having a solid foundation, because knowledge is nothing without a foundation for it. You know what I'm saying? Because what is knowing about, the chakra system if you don't have a foundation knowledge of it? Because you won't know how to apply it. You know what I'm saying? You won't know how to apply it properly. You don't know which teachings is the right teachings, because all information, I was gonna say true information, but all informations get distorted at some point.
And you got to also like look at it like, how does it feel when you are receiving the information? If you feel fear based, then your inner being is like, nah, bro, this ain't.
But what is that inner being without the foundation, though? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? No matter where you are in your journey, that foundation is solid. Because even in awakenings, you know what I'm saying? Like starting from new beginnings, right?
It's a whole new world.
It's a whole new world. Yep. So you gotta get a solid foundation in what you know, because anybody that has you got people from your past that's trying to tell you crazy.
Yeah.
You got people that know you right now.
Let's talk about that though.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Because a lot of people, like, I don't know where people are in their journeys when they listen to this. But if you like when you first starting off, like when I had my spiritual awakening in college, and this the basic, you starting to see repeated numbers, tapping into all these different things, algorithms, vibrations starting to shift, blah blah blah, and then you're a bit hesitant to speak on these things freely because, like you said, the people from your old character, your old timeline, it's like, oh, you being weird as fuck. Nah, bro, what you mean we the universe and we create our realities? Fuck out of here.
Right.
And then you start attracting your tribe because now you embodying that vibration, that frequency. So now you bringing in a new set of cast around you who is like-minded individuals. So if you listen to this and you starting your spiritual journey, you feel alone, I promise you won't. Twitter was it started with Twitter for me. So you start attracting all these people, realizing you're not crazy, consciousness observing itself, literally. So it's interesting. Also, devil's advocate, when you shift frequency and you have others who are judging, you as consciousness observing your old self, the sleep self, the amnesia self, giving that self unconditional love and acceptance, because you understand that they still under amnesia. So you have to have compassion for
them. 100%. And that's I won't even call it a double-edged sword. I will call it a paradox, right?
Agreed.
Because when you ascend, there's preconceived notions just based off the foundation of the knowledge we had before, right? There's preconceived notions that comes with that, and you don't expect those encounters or people to be like that, or you have to respond in a certain way, right? But that comes with it too. Holding space and compassion for other people who don't understand where you at, right? And also attracting your tribe at the same time. Woo!
Come on.
Attracting your tribe at the same time when you get in the tug from the people who are trying to, quote unquote, save your life from the dark path you're heading to.
Yeah, they see it as a dark path.
Yeah.
It's a lot of friendships I don't even like. I mean, it's all love at the end of the day, but it's a lot of people I don't even talk to no more. Like, we still follow each other, haven't spoken in years, and I'm at peace. It's just like, it's love. We are different frequencies. You operating from a certain matrix, and that's fine. Me, we moving different.
100%. And and a lot of times I say, well, in my experiences, people from my past timeline, right? They fall off organically.
Yep.
Because when you're trying to climb and ascend still, and you're still doing the work and stuff like that, the gap broadens, but between you and the people who aren't doing the work, and the people who don't understand you. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So for me, they fall off naturally. And um and then the other part of that is, holding space and holding compassion for other people. Some people want to follow what you're doing
Yeah.
because they're so upset for about the life that they're living and what they're going through on a daily basis. Then
Right.
they was just waiting on somebody around them to
To be the
lead the
to
charge.
spark, plant
You know what I'm
that
saying?
seed.
Yeah. And you get that call like, man, I've been waiting on somebody, to do this. Like, I'm on with you. What information, what book you reading?
Yeah.
Like, what type of things you watching? Like, I'm on this too. And I was
Mm-hmm.
just scared to say something. I was scared to, and that's beautiful to watch too. I've had that happen a few times. And
Yeah.
it's beautiful to watch. And that, like you said, you're not crazy and you're not alone. It's just, you just have to have the courage. You know what I'm saying?
Because then, like, even like the people like that's you sparked the curiosity to know more. They didn't have the information around them to even know where to begin, how to think, just a new source of information. Um, so it's important. Don't like if you're because I know people who are afraid to was more so open now about spirituality, but still people on the fence about law of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
And they mock it because it's multiple levels of
Yeah.
creating your reality, and it's deeper than people really think.
I think it's because no knock on it, because I did study it when I was first coming through in my awakening, but it's the secret kind of gave it a bad like rap, kind of. You
it
know what I'm saying? Because the secret kind of what do you call it? Over capitalized on the whole concept without giving real substance to it. They kind
mhm.
of like um I don't even know the correct term
They
for it,
give the
but
basics though. I
the
will say they give the
basics, they
basics,
give the basics, but they stopped
which is
at
a
the
start.
basics. You know what
Yes,
I'm saying?
they
And
thought
then,
they yeah.
yep, and then they kind of over Hollywooded it. You know what I'm saying?
But you gotta remember too. This is mainstream, so they ain't gonna go super duper like deep into the specifics. But a
You right.
basic like vibration, you think what you attract. It's just a basic like think in a way of what you want. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what they didn't explain and it would deter somebody to not believe is it was like when they was depicting it, it was like it was an instant manifestation.
Right.
Now,
Right.
in another reality, outside of this shit, that is how it works. But in
Right.
this dense matrix that we're in, it takes time for
Takes
the set
time.
to get fixed. So that so
Quick parentheses between that. It takes time. Go look at the first part of this. I remember we were talking about time, and I said that's the distance between
mm,
2 points in consciousness. Go
mm-hmm.
watch the first part.
I
Go
forgot
ahead.
about that. Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
And so, because I remember, like when after I first watched that, I was like, I'm excited, cool, recreate reality. This resonate with me. I feel this shit, and then I would write certain things down. It wasn't manifesting quickly, so then I started having doubts. But then, not knowing, you have to you can't have resistance towards things. You have to ignore reality. It's going to take up. It's like it's multiple ways to work around it. So
Mhm.
I can't see how I can create a not the best picture, but it's a
Right.
good basic like
Yeah.
dummy down version of
But some
you
of the
create your
other
reality.
stuff needed to come with it, right?
Yeah,
Because the ignore reality is a huge one. Because think about a single mother with 3 kids working 2 jobs, living paycheck to paycheck. How is she supposed to ignore reality?
exactly, and that's
You know what
a
I'm saying?
great. That's true. That is true.
So that's how the secret kind of messed up. Like, you can get the surface level information, but you need some type of implications on how this is gonna work versus what I see every day in my dense 3-dimensional reality, and coupled with the religious dogmas
and the emotional charge to it too.
Yep. So there was so much stuff that could have still been covered on that, and I get it, because there's only so much you can cram in, like how long was it, an hour and a half or something?
I think it was an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it comes to editing, you know, and then it becomes like a 3-hour video, and ain't nobody finna watch that.
Sit.
So,
yeah.
I get it, but
it would have to be like a series for like
for sure
to break it down. And would they? I mean, shit.
no, back then series wasn't hitting like that, like they do now. You know what I'm saying? This was what, 15, 20 years ago?
Mm-hmm. No, that's true. Damn, I never think about it like that.
Yeah.
Because it's tough. I mean, I could see that. Because I know some people where law of attraction has a cap on it, where it's like, I create my existence up until this point, and then they like, no, then you airy fairy. And I'm like, no, this is not about create. It's about, we're not creating shit. We're shifting timelines. We're going to altered reality. That's what we're doing.
100%.
So you gotta be as delusional. I don't care what the situation is. It might not happen. Like for example, you can be prime freaking example. I set the attention. So by the time y'all listen to this, I'm already in the UK. But I had got let go 2 weeks. This sounds so weird speaking in the past tense. I'm in the present. I got let go 2 weeks before I'm supposed to leave. And then I got another job opportunity where I'm gonna do a little finessing to work for a little bit to get some extra money to go over there with. But it didn't go as planned as I wanted to, but how it planned out even better than I would have imagined. So you have to also be willing to go with the flow. It ain't gonna always go how you want it, source, universe, whatever you want to call yourself. It's like, bet, listen, we got a different plan for you. Just relax.
Facts. And that's literally what it is. And we have to be aware of all and that's why they got me on the scene now. Purpose hit me. So that's what I do, you know, as a mindset awareness facilitator, is I give the practical gems and the implications on how all that works. Because I tell people all the time, you can pay all this money to go see motivational speakers. You can go to church. You can pay for all these seminars, but more often than not, that you're going to be paying for feel good messages. And you're not going to leave with all of the gems and all of the tools that you can go make it happen. They're going to give you one, right? They're going to leave you home with one for free. Well, it ain't for free because you paid for the seminar, but then you're going to have to pay for the rest of it. And that's kind of how they do it. That's kind of like the blueprint on, selling a product. But, I was called to give those steps in between. I call it the bridge. I was called to bridge that gap. So what I do is I make sure people have those, what does it look like? How am I supposed to ignore reality? I was reading a book on Hermes yesterday, and literally it said in one of the principles, it was saying leave your how you respond to your reality, leave that idle. So literally that's not implying that you should ignore your reality, but you shouldn't react to what you see. You should just observe it.
Yep. Consciousness observing itself.
Yep. Observe it. Because once you we talked about this in part 1 as well, like holding on to that emotion. And that becomes more important than the solutions, because we get so stuck in emotion on how things feel, how being late on your bills feel, how this divorce feel, how this loss feels, then there's no room to to receive on the opposite end of that, on the other end of that. There's no room for receive. And that's not to say, and I'm not downplaying emotions at all, because we all have them, right? We all have and we all feel, but we feel it and let it pass. We release how the thing feels so we can maintain enough submission, a sufficient amount of bandwidth to receive. And when we don't do that, when we're focusing on the emotion and what our reality looks like. And that's a lot of times why not even I mean, this is reality, but socially, this is the issue, because I'm worried if we beefed out because you said something to me, I know there was a miscommunication or a misunderstanding somewhere, but I'm so mad that I don't even care. So I just want to cut you off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And all we had to do was sit down and talk and be like, I didn't like the way you said this to me.
And just communicate that
yeah,
shit.
And this is how I perceived what you said, and I didn't like it because this was telling me X, Y, and Z. And then you would be like, that's not how I meant it at all. And then you come to that realization, oh dang, I misinterpreted what you were saying. All I had to do was ask. But I was so mad that my feelings got in the way. Perfect example. You know what I'm saying? So let feelings pass. And then in that event, be like, yo, did you mean this? Like, when you said that, is this what you meant? And you be like, no. You be like, oh, I thought so. All right, never mind. At first I was mad, but I knew I was tripping. So,
perception. It's that perception of it.
Yep, perception. And so we have to know that our perception is literally the key to what our reality looks like. And they used to say perception is reality. We used to get in trouble and be like, perception, even if you didn't do it, perception is reality. So you look guilty, right? So that's the whole thing about, creating a reality and that whole law of attraction thing. And so that's what we're here to talk about, is the missing pieces and the missing links to that, and how the perception is the key to changing your mindset. Because if you take a step back, then you can see all the moving parts of what's going on, and you can get to the root cause of the effect of perceiving the reality that you have right now. And that's literally all it is, objectively observing the consciousness.
This is perfect segue. Big Dog, I always ask this last question to my guests. What would your message be to humanity during this time?
My last one was breathe. This one would be ask yourself how. How? Because we get stuck in why, especially when it's emotion attached to it. Trade that why for how. How can I get this done?
Talk to him, man.
How am I going to get to this end result? Not why is this happening to me, or why do I have to do this? How do I get to my end result? Because I have an opportunity right now to move that needle forward. So asking yourself how puts you in the mindset of opportunity, and thus putting you in problem solving mode. And that's the perception switch between why and circumstance. A lot of authors says there's no such thing as circumstance. If it's, as long as there's a solution for it, there's no circumstance. There's cause and effect and the solution for whatever reality that you don't want. There's a solution for it. So that's what I would say to the listeners dealing with that. Ask how.
This Marcus, guys, if you want to book a session with Marcus, his link will be below. Big Dog, part 2 in the books. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you for having me, man. And
Yeah,
this was powerful build. I
I
appreciate
agree.
you.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree, man. I can't wait to share this. Guys, don't even know what timeline this is. Y'all gonna be listening to this on, but I appreciate you on the journey. Guys, as always, you're the creator of your own reality. Everything you think feels safe shapes this around you. Like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next week. Appreciate you, brother.
Peace.